Hey y'all, how are you? Welcome back. If you're new here and you haven't seen my face, congratulations! If you're returning and you hate my face, get out of here. If you're returning and you're so stoked to be here, welcome back, homie. So glad to have you. Let's get into it. There's nothing to it, right? So I had all these videos posted for this week, just like, random videos I was posting as I went throughout my week. And I'm not sure if I'm going to post them. And I suppose since I'm making this video, I'm technically not going to post them because I was just thinking I could just redo them all in better energy and clearer mindset and more focused content, I suppose, and less crying. So here we go. I'm just going to update you on my life. And I really don't even know where to start. I don't know who you are, where you're coming in at, what you know, what you don't know, what you think you know, and you really don't know nothing. But so I've been trying to get a job for quite a while, and I was blessed enough to have a lot of financial assistance throughout the time that I was not working. And I, kept looking for jobs, but my energy wasn't ready to work. And then I'm ready to work, but no one wants to hire me. And so now I have no finances to come help if things don't work out, I guess, if I don't get what I need. And I'm trying to trust God and trust like it's going to be okay and things are going to work out. Right? But I chose to get myself in this position. Like, my actions of my entire life have gotten me here. And regardless if there's other people to put blame on or not, I was the one who kept myself in certain situations. I neglected certain aspects. I fell into these negative patterns. I tried to save everyone else but myself. And so here I am, continuing to try to dig myself out of the holes that I have put myself in, as like water is rushing in and the mud in the ground underneath me is just turning into like a mucky, mushy, watery mess that is sinking me down, and I'm trying to claw out and dirt on my nails, and I'm like also trying to smooth out the walls so it looks like a nice home instead of like a mud pit. But here we are. So I was super stoked. I went to this, I don't know if I should say the place, but I guess I'm not working there anymore, so I guess I could, but I don't want to put like all these people in the under the bus, and like, you know what I'm saying? So recently I got a job. Like, I went there and like I got the email back and I was like, hey, I can't come in that week, but like can I come in today? And they said sure. So I just went up there. And I didn't like wear any nice outfit, didn't wear anything. It was like a regular retail store. And honestly, I've just been so stressed out. I've been putting so much energy into finding a job, trying to start some kind of business, trying to tap back into my spirituality, to God, to my center, trying to like find my clarity, trying to do all of these things every single day, and feeling as though I'm getting nowhere, knowing that I'm getting somewhere, but recognizing that I'm still so stuck in these certain aspects of myself, of my old self, and knowing that I needed to be out of all of these certain habits and life mindsets and lifestyles and friendships and everything, programming, everything. I was supposed to be out of it so long ago, and I could have been. And the reality is there's a choice I could have made that would have not have probably let any of these things happen. But I wasn't prepared or ready or able to see those ways until I'm out of it now. And even in the mix of crazy times, like, I saw different ways I could have handled things. It's not like I'm just now seeing, oh, I could have done these differently. Like, there's, parts of the past that I promised and told myself I would never do these certain things, or I would handle it these ways when these things happen, if they happen, and trying to reframe my mind to the positive. And so then it brings me to this place where I'm in a chunk of debt, and I'm just where I am, and I don't want to be complaining about it, but how do I tell you everything without telling you the truth, right? I've been like working out of this negative mindsets, these negative paradigms, and trying to like heal myself for years, and still being attacked and still being harassed, and having all people come at me and stalk me and watch my house, or come into my house when I'm gone, or probably come into my house when I was sleeping, thanks for this, I guess I'm here. People just be fucking with you, and they don't even always realize how they're doing it, what they're doing, why they're doing it, And some do, and some get a thrill and enjoyment from making you miserable and ruining your life, because they don't see that they have any goodness within them, and they might not, to be honest. And so maybe the goodness that they do feel, that's the only way that they can feel good, is by making someone else feel horrible, because they hate themselves so much. But none of us are here to hate ourselves. We're all here to love ourselves, to heal ourselves, and to love each other and to heal each other. For a really long time, I was like so afraid of getting into a relationship, starting another job, doing this, like doing anything. And I never needed to be afraid of anything, but I just couldn't see like where I was and how things really were. And so there's times that I was like meeting the right people, but at wrong times for me. And then other times where I'm in the right space energetically, mentally, physically, all of that, but I'm not meeting the right people. And so in the reality, I still was never in the correct space, because I'm still at some plateau. And I feel like there's things that I was needing to do in the 3D before I get to the certain next level. And since I didn't do certain things, or I continue to do certain things, to take myself down different pathways, I'm still here, and there's a possibility that there's certain things that I still need to do that are going to take time before I do them, before I'm even able to move in any capacity. And that's also like, I might not ever be able to do the things that I perceive myself to be able to do. But then that makes me think, those are the lies. That's the lie. It's always the lie that you are not meant to do more and be more than you are. That you're not able or capable to heal these patterns, to change who you are. And so often I would fall back into triggers, or I would be getting, bullied and manipulated and gaslit and just talked down on, like, whatever, dude. And so it kind of like jacks your mind up, and I didn't understand why, if I know all that I know, if I've been doing this in some capacity my entire life, and I've always been set apart, and I've always been me, why is it so hard to just be me again? Why is it so hard to just let all of this go? Why is it so ingrained within me? Why are these triggers so overwhelming? Why is this life so overwhelming? Why can't I breathe? Why can't I find that real peace, right? And there's times where I feel like I haven't, and I'm getting there, and it's beautiful, and that it never stays. But there's always things that I needed to be doing differently, handling people differently, and not taking things personal, recognizing that the ways that people come at me and speak to me is a reflection of their inner self and how they are feeling towards how they're perceiving me, misperceiving me, understanding the situation, understanding themselves, where they are within themselves and toward themselves. And it is all, so much of my life, I took everything in. I took it all in and I took it all personal, and it is all me. And like, you're right, it is me. You're right. You're right. But you're not right. It wasn't all me. It's never all you. You're not this horrible, broken, destructive piece of crap. I mean, some people, yeah, because you choose to be, because you want to be, because that's your choice. And some of that is due to our, childhood programming of people pushing those agendas and mindsets and beliefs upon us, treating us less than, using us as slaves at times, and just projecting all that they are in the negative toward us, attempting to be their best selves, but not really being able to recognize who they are. And then it just kind of takes all of the joy and all of the beauty that you are as your individual unique soul, your little spark fractal of God's self energy, all that you are, in the curiosity, in the becoming, in the joy, in the happiness of life. That's the beauty, and we lose that spark when we're young. And not everyone does, but it's hard to say. Like, it would be hard to find an adult that, if you go out into the world, that has their genuine childlike joy, their thirst for life, their enjoyment of a beautiful sky, or the way the wind blows the trees, or the enjoyment of other human beings at times. I know that there are so many negative aspects to this world, and many of us, through trauma and generational parenting habits and curses and societal norms and all of these things that play out to make us who we are, right? It can be a very negative experience at times, and many beautiful children are, going through their life, and when they show the slightest sense of joy and happiness, those around them are struggling with their own sadness, anger, unworthiness, low self-esteem. They don't even understand and realize that they are lashing out at these beautiful souls because for just being who they are, and because the adults are unable to see the truth. They're unable to see the beauty of the world because it's always still there. God is everything, all of us, all of the earth. But when we choose to just destroy it, when we choose to look at the negatives, when we choose to see only negatives within ourselves, we're cutting God out. God doesn't want us to see ourselves like that. He doesn't want us to close ourselves off to each other and to ourselves and to Source. If you're cutting yourself off from the divine, from Jesus, they're like, Jesus is God, like, Jesus is an ascended master, like, like, I'm still wondering if near-death experiences are, I think it's really partially like your mindset, but also there's so many that are just, I don't know if it's something that you've like looked into, but it keeps popping in my head. It's just tripping me out, And I've read a few like out of body experience trips or whatever, and just different trip reports and near-death experience reports, and how so many of them say like God is not what we perceive. That God is not how we on earth understand God to be. And if God is energy, God is consciousness, God is the mind, like the one mind, creating all the little fractal minds, creating all the good and the bad, the everything, and all for the experience, and all for the growing, and all for the love and the knowing and the truth. And the more that you step into the truth of yourself, the love for yourself, the love for others, regardless of how they are coming at you, regardless of how they are reacting to you and perceiving you to be, for you to recognize that that has nothing to do with you, that is on them. People are going to hate on you. People are going to judge you. People are going to think whatever they want to think, regardless of how you come at the situation. There's times I've been insanely kind, quiet, people-pleasing. I've been brash. I've been patient. I've been every different way that you could ever be throughout my life in these different scenarios, and many of them with certain people multiple times. No matter how clear you are, no matter how hard you try to be understood or seen correctly, there are people and there are energies in this world that are set on seeing you incorrectly. That because they are unable and unwilling to see themselves honestly and openly, and to take accountability, to decide that they want to change, that they are willing, and that they are worthy, and that they are also important, instead of saying, oh, I am nothingness, so now you must be nothingness. We're not nothing. Like, I want to, yeah, everything is from God and of God, and aren't my words truly God's words? Nothing is mine. I'm just a being. I'm just here. And this is a false mind. This is a false character. But I'm the realist that I could be. I have always been me. And so many of us spend so much of our time trying to make others happy, trying to fix situations, trying to heal hearts and prove our love and prove our worthiness. And when we're able to really take care of ourselves and love ourselves and set our boundaries and keep our boundaries and know that the ways that others treat you is not a reflection of you, it is a reflection of them and where they are in life, and your reaction to them, it's also a reflection of you. Like you're both reflecting each other in different aspects, in different ways. And so the ways that you choose to respond or reply to another in action, in words, or lack thereof, really determine your growth or your level of vibration in this chapter of life. Sometimes we'll be completely unaware of ourselves or totally wrapped up in the emotions and the explosive interactions that come about in life, like rush hour traffic. Like most people deal with that every morning. There's so many times that I'd be running late and driving and being crazy and stressing out. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, you just leave early. I would try to leave early sometimes, and then I would still be late. It was just, then I got to the point where I didn't care anymore. I was stressing myself out for jobs and people who didn't give a shit, who didn't care about me at all. I was giving so much of myself through all of my life to everyone and everything else, and nothing was coming back. Not really. Sure, I had money. I had a good job at one point, like a really good job, and I was really good at it. I didn't realize I was really good at it. I didn't realize how hard it would be to find another position like that. how my life would change, how things would crumble. And yet, here we are. So recently, I went into this position, right? I went into this job interview. I'm sorry that I'm all over the place, but this is my story, and then I'll be out of here. Yeah, that's way longer than you thought. Yeah, so I went in there, and they're like, "Do you have any?" They ask me the questions. I tell them what I know. I tell them it's what's up. I can do the job. I got no problems with nothing that they're asking me. They ask me if I have any questions. I say no, but I do have something on my background check. So I told them about the situation with me and my ex when he's trying to take my kid and harassing me for weeks and just keeps fighting me, and then he wouldn't let us go, and I was literally, I like had, for one, was dealing with something crazy, like healing from that. He was just a lot then. Like, he would never back out of my life. Just like, I ended up hitting him, and it was regretful, and it's the thing that he wanted me to do. And I had told myself that if it happens, when it happens, if he decides to try to do that, I'm just going to let him take him. I'm not going to freak out. It's going to be okay. I'll see my son again, even if it's months down the line, whatever, like, blah, blah, blah. When this situation happened, I had been standing firm, and I had been patient, and I had been kind, and I had been considerate, and I had been respectful months and months and months and months and years, and like, this situation, I'm done. I said I'm done. I'm not going to change my mind. You can come to the first day of school at the bus stop. We're not going to, no issues, blah, blah, blah. You can chat with Liam, no problem. But nothing is ever good enough if it's not what this person wants, and it's not the ways that they want, and it's not in their agenda. And so, unfortunately, I played right into that hand, and I was not in a good headspace, and I'm freaking out. And like, who could deal with this kind of stress, prolonged stress for so long, and then you bring other people into this mess? Like, it's just been a lot, right? And a lot of the jobs that I've almost gotten, they're so ready for me to start until my background check comes back. And so I'm like, cool, dude, like, this is just great. But I did it to myself, right? It's my fault. So they decided to hire me because I told them about it, and I was like, look, like, this is going on. My ex is trying to make me look crazy. I need a job. I can do this job. I love puppies. I get the job. I start the next day. Immediately think my boss doesn't like me, and I was like, no, like, let's be positive. Let's think positive on it, because if you continue to bring up these negative thoughts and these negative mindsets, that's what you're going to get. So I just kept, trying to tell myself otherwise, and, thinking like, it just, people are new, and she's stressed, and all these things. But I'm also seeing her and other people talking about me, which, some people could say they're not. But there was multiple situations, certain things happening, people watching me, and then go, oh, whisper as soon as the manager comes in. Or it just seemed like I've had a few bosses where it's like they don't like me, or they want to just mess with me, and they make life really hard, right? And they give you so much more work, and they push and push and push, and they act like it's no thing, and like, if you have a problem with it, it's your problem, because this is just how it works here, right? But other people don't have to do that. Other people don't get treated these ways. But it's okay, because those people aren't you, right? So on my third day, in the middle of my shift, about middle, some girl comes in, and they're talking to other coworkers, and they're like, oh, what nights are you working? And she goes, oh, I'm moving to mornings. So immediately I thought, that's cool. There goes my job, because they had already hired other people, and they just didn't need me anymore. So a little bit goes down the line, I take a little mini break because I was feeling super dizzy that day, and came back in and I saw this puppy. Like, no one had pet this puppy in days, and she was so sweet. And so I decided I pet the Dalmatian first because she was right there being hella cute. So I pet her, go around, clean my hands, and I noticed that other puppy was awake. So she had been crying for a long time earlier in the day. So I was like, "Oh, you're awake, I'll get you." So I was gonna pet her real quick and then go finish cleaning out some poop rags. And right before I go to put her in the cage, my boss comes and says, "Hey, talk to you over here." And it's like, cool, like, my brain, you're getting fired, okay, you know? So I go around the corner, and her friend that was talking shit with her on me was in the office, and she's like, "You can get out." She has a little smirk smile on her face. So I'm like, cool, y'all, you know? It's just frustrating, but it is what it is, right? And then someone else comes in, and she's like, "Oh, you can stay in here." And then so it's just me, her, and this dude who was there when I interviewed. And he seemed really cool. His face was like so expressive, and he was so like, I don't know, such a beautiful, beautiful face, beautiful soul. And the girl that I interviewed with, like, her eyes were like sparkly, and I'm like, is she high? I don't know. Like, some people just have like, it's like their eyes glitter, you know? Beautiful, and she seems so sweet. But yeah, she just said, "We just think it's not gonna work out. You can go clock out. We'll send you your check." And I just said, "Okay." And I walked out, and then I couldn't get the computer on. This girl had helped me, and then I left, and then I cried, and then I was like, "Why am I crying?" Yeah, I gave so much to that. And like, before this job started, right, on the days there, I was like kind of working through some stuff, and the message came through that like, this job is not for you. This is not what God wants me to be doing. This is not where God wants me to be. This is not where my energy needs to be put. And there's a possibility that I'm going to just work this job and be so exhausted, I'm not going to have time to do anything else. And it's going to drain me, you know? But I needed the money. And I'm like, do I really need the money? Yeah, I guess I do. But like, and then I was trying not to smoke, right? Which I think it helped because I'm like busy, I'm not at home, and I didn't get breaks, so that was, you know, whatever. It was exhausting, you know, like I'd go in early as hell and then like clean for hours and hours and then didn't have water. Like, that's why I was like super dizzy that day. And then I'm like, just, I think I was so upset just because I got myself in this position, that I'm even here, like, struggling with this, that I'm, you know, needing to get a job so bad. And, like, it's just stupid because it's not for me. Like, how many times have I been in the world and done these jobs and worked my ass off, and it burns me out so fast? I'm not meant to be doing that. God wants me here. God wants me coaching people. God wants me opening people up to their true power, their connection with God, their connection with themselves, their healing, to love, to understanding each other, to compassion, gratitude. And yeah, I'm like, I've been trying to do that, but nothing seemed like it was coming out right. But on the way to this interview, there was like signs, right? Like, this is how I know I'm not posting those other videos. I'm just gonna put it in here because it's long as hell. So I was questioning, like, am I on the right path? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do, right? Like, I know this job isn't necessarily for me, but maybe I could do this job and then do my stuff after or whatever. But I was so exhausted. I was like just sleeping like most of the night after work, and then I would get up, I'd clean a little bit or do something to take care of my sons, and then I would go back to bed. And how long would that last? And then when my period hits and I literally have no functioning energy or mindset, how am I going to do this? So with these barking dogs and this manager who's not already doesn't like me and whatever, you know? Because it's not for me. And I've made so many videos that I've prayed. I'm like, you know, tell me like the things that people need to hear. And I do these videos and then I'm just, it's trash or it's the same as everyone else. And I know like everyone, there's no new info and everything's the same and things are becoming more as they were in the beginning of time, you know, with mermaids and with the veils being lifted, with the you know, everything that it was is. Is there like, are timelines going to be like intermeshed and interwoven, and so like all of these different timelines are going to happen at the same time, or like every person is on different timelines, so it all essentially is happening in the same time, in the same space, yet we are all experiencing different realities within that sameness, if that makes sense. And so, like, that's why the Bible is so real. Like, everything, it all is real. It all is true. God is real. God is within you. God is, like they say, he puts his words in your heart. But then, so many, I feel, don't have it. And who am I to say if I do, you know? Like, all the people that will be, you know, thinking they're getting into heaven or getting into good with God, and they're not. And like, do you just be reincarnated, or is it that you can be infinitely reincarnated? Or if you get to the enlightened stage, you go back into your soul? I don't think that's it. Because people die and then they go back into their soul. And then they're like, everything makes sense, right? All the answers are there. They know them. Okay, so my signs, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Going to get gas. I wasn't really paying attention to the amount of gas I was putting in. I looked over, I saw like a hawk flying. As I was thinking, like, you know, I would like to do this job. I would be good at it. And if I'm going on the right path and I see the hawk and I think, okay, that's possibly a sign that I'm on the right path. That's possibly a sign that I'm not, right? But I was thinking more towards the alignment, because I'm opening myself up to like opportunities and possibilities, and that is a higher aligned path than staying stagnant and going back for sure. So then I, you know, look back at the gas pump. It stopped at 1040, and I was like, did not mean to get that much gas. Thought it was weird that it was like an equal number, 1040, and I was like 10.4. Okay, copy that. So that means I'm on the right path. And then I go there and we talk and like it's chill, and I was like, sweet, like, okay, aligned, right? In alignment, right on time, like, got this job. And then I'm thinking all that stuff, you know, like, is this not for me? Am I just gonna be so tired? Am I gonna work so much and not be respected and not be, you know, taking care of myself because I'm so worn out? And that's exactly what happened. Like, I was trying to reframe it to be positive, and I was trying to take care of myself and still take care of my house. But things were already overwhelming prior to starting this job. And I had the thought that if I continue this job, there's the possibility that one, I could sink into it and have way more energy than I realized I could have, and be able to eventually do the job and all the things I need to do after, and blah blah blah, and stay chill and stay calm and cool and collected regardless of what's going on in my vicinity or around. And then there's another opposite where I could just be burned out super fast and it would be not good for me. And then the one I didn't think about was getting fired. I did not think I was just going to get fired like that. I didn't think, they're going to start hiring a bunch of people during the morning and then people are going to switch shifts. And I'm like, cool. But I got to make some puppies happy. I got to love on them, and I got to prove to myself that I can do hard things, that I can, go without things, that I can push through, that I can calm the storms. I can recognize that it's a blessing in disguise. Like, even though I had been crying throughout the drive, like I was chill and then I cry and then I chill, because things were coming up. It's a trigger, it's life, and it happens. But even within that, I was reminding myself, like, that job was not for me. It's not what I'm being called to do. And the reality is, if I'm not doing what God is calling me to do, it's going to continue to fall apart. Like, there's a reason that I was not able to do things. Like, I can't do things the way other people do them. I'm not other people. I'm me. And I have to move differently. And I have to really own who I am and step into that. And so I feel like God was calling me to minister, but I don't feel like that's me. Like, I'm not in the word like that. I'm not on those levels. And my view of the world and reality is different than many. And so maybe not minister, but like that's why it was the coaching, the life coaching. And yet, like, I have all this knowledge, I have all this life experience from all of these different avenues of life that I have went down through, poverty and abuse and self-abuse and going to therapy, getting out of therapy, drug addiction, food addiction. There's so many different things that I've healed and I'm continuing to heal and will possibly forever be healing, like the mental illness, the societal norms, the old programming from childhood. Like, is it ever fully gone? And every time that I think I'm, getting over these certain stages and stigmas or beliefs that I have within myself or about life or whatever, new things come up, new things are discovered that I need to work through. It's forever a lifelong journey of healing and shedding and growth, and it's beautiful if you allow it to be. Not every day is beautiful and not every moment is beautiful. Sometimes we're angry, sometimes we're really sad, sometimes we're numb, and that happens, and we work through it, and we are patient with ourselves. We learn to be patient, we learn to be compassionate, we learn to be understanding, recognizing that you are healing in every moment that these triggers are coming up, in every moment that that life is stirring the pot for you and irritating you. It's another chance for you to show up, to learn the lesson to observe yourself from a higher perspective, or those around you from a higher perspective, and to show up in love regardless of how others are perceiving you or showing up themselves. Many times people can come at you in loving ways for them, but it's not loving for you because it's not what you need to feel loved. And when you take care of yourself in healthier ways and you reflect to renew, and you allow the divine to kind of sift and sort who you are, to evolve, to shine bright, to open up those avenues of love for yourself and for others, your whole world opens up. Everything becomes different. It's not always different. It's not always something that you're aware of. It's not always something that you can handle in the highest ways. Life is tricky, and it's backs and forths and ups and downs, and it takes time, a lot of time and hard work, consistency to just keep going and keep fighting and keep renewing who you are and accepting who you are and allowing yourself to just be messy, to be whoever you are in whatever aspect that is. And when you really love yourself, the people that will be drawn to you will be people who truly love you, truly see you, are reflections of that love within you. Because when you love yourself, that's when you can truly recognize how God is always there, is always loving you, is always just a part of you, But when we are disconnected from ourselves, we're disconnected from God. And so, every day as you move through life, as you're getting these new lessons and grateful blessings, you're being urged to, what is the word, constantly be in communication with your true self, with God, with your God spark, with your higher self, with your connection to divine. They're always listening, they're always there. So yeah, I thought I was on the right path. I thought I was doing good, but I don't know. I'm sure that there's so many other things that I could have been doing, but I did, the next day after losing that job, I did clean in my house, hellas, reorganized, and today we rested, we hiked, we got ice cream, we pet some puppies, and we did what are those things called? Juice fruits. We did that. That was pretty fun. We just had fun, and we went out in the sunlight, and it's nice. We don't hang out as much as we used to, and I miss going on hikes. So if you've hung out with me this whole time, thank you so much. If you left and came back, thanks for returning. If you're like, why is she still talking? My cat says hi. Thank you for stopping by. If you want to get coaching or have a free consultation, hit me up. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram or here. You can comment. You can email me. Yeah, let's do it. It's I can't promise that everything in your life will be 100%, sunshine and rainbows, because that's not what life is. It will never be that. But as you continue to work on yourself, and as you continue to um, allow yourself to be different, allow yourself to really try, really show up, really live your life, you'll see that it's a lot easier than it seems. I hope you have a good one. See you later.